Hey guys, welcome. We'll start in just a minute. Hey Ken, how you doing? Just make sure I have my audio levels okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so my thoughts are today I'm going to do some operations here over Mars, and I did install the new textures that Martin just released, so I'll put a link in the description after the video, but I'm sure you guys probably already saw the news, but they're pretty spectacular. So I'm thinking what we'll do is do a little atmospheric flight, and then there's a space station that I put in orbit above Mars. It's the NASA station, I think it's called. So we might fly up to that and maybe conclude things with a landing back on Mars. If we have time, we might throw in a trip to Phobos. I don't know how much time we'll have for all that. But I'll go ahead and get started. An easy way of using IMFD instead of spending ages adjusting values. I'm not an expert at IMFD. Dimitri is. I'm hoping that he can join me on a live session one of these days. But to be honest, adjusting values is if you want to be super precise with your flight. So, for example, when I do a single burn to the moon or to Mars with no mid-course corrections, it is required to do all those adjusting of the values, but you can basically pull up IMFD and it will find a plan for you, and you can pretty much just hit auto burn and fly it. Sometimes it's going to cost a bunch in fuel. It depends on the eject date, but yeah, you can actually do that. So we're in the virtual cockpit of the default Delta glider here. So I'm just going to go, let's see, look up here and start getting things ready to go. I have a pre-flight checklist for the XR2. I haven't put one together for this one yet. So let's see, we're going to close these hatches. Actually, let's turn on the cockpit lights. Unpause first. There we go. So let's go ahead and close inner and outer doors. And I think we can see those closing. All right. I think we do open on cabin O2 into supply. I'm not positive about these actually. Let's just do open on all those. We're going to extend the HUD. We'll turn on beacon and strobe. Nav doesn't need to be on. Radiator is retracted. Landing lights don't need to be on. We want airfoil control surfaces on full. We'll do rotation, RCS, surface HUD. Let's see. So gimbal control. I think auto and hover control, we're going to put that on auto. Okay, let's see. We want to stow the ladder, close the nose cone. We're full on fuel, so that's good. Let's go ahead and set up our comm nav frequencies. So we're going to set it up for the NASA station. So let's go. I'm going to try to do everything in the virtual cockpit today, because that's something that I don't really ever do. Thought that'd be kind of cool. So let's set up nav 1 to 108. It already is. And then nav 2 to one of the docking ports. Wow, there's 8 docking ports in this thing. So, they don't have any frequencies? That's interesting. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess we'll just have to target the docking port with the docking MFD when it comes around to it. But, oh well. Okay. Let's take a look at the map. I don't really like the map there. Let's do this one. That's better. So you can see we're here at Olympus, and the NASA station is actually fixing to cross our launch site here. So we could launch straight to the station, but I want to fly over Valles Marineris. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think that will be a pretty cool flight, and then we'll go up into space. So let's make sure everything else is set up. Let's go ahead and put align planes over here to the space station. There we go. And I think that will do it, except I'm not sure of the direction. I think it's southeast is what we need to fly to get over there. So I guess that'll work for now. Okay. I think everything is ready to go. I don't know what to do with these relief valves. I don't think it really matters as far as flying goes. Maybe, okay, that's probably supposed to be closed. And maybe these should be closed. Anyone know what those do? Nope. Well, we're gonna go with that. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Alright. Take one last look outside. Everything looks good. We do have 4 passengers on board. Okay, here we go. Put in some hover engines. And let's, where's the gear? Let's raise the gear. Let's rotate southeast.
Gear up.
I think somewhere around 120 should get us over there. Fire the main engines. And we will, let me get the view set up here. We'll use the altitude hold and stuff here once we get up to speed. I guess we should, everything looks good. Take a look outside. We should be pitching up. Is the stream working okay, guys? Can you text in there for me? going to start pulling back on the throttle a little bit because we don't want to actually reach orbital velocity here. I'm looking at my apoapsis here. Maybe around 20K or so. Probably not much higher than that is a good target. We want to go nose down on the trim there. Okay, I wasn't paying attention, but apoapsis is at 23K. So that looks good. So let's do altitude hold. Reset. So altitude hold will hold it around 20.27 kilometers. That's fine. Okay, so what we're just about to reach apoapsis. Airspeed's about what, 1478 meters per second. So I'm going to put just a little bit of main engines in, just to sort of keep that airspeed. And let's reset our altitude hold for our current altitude. That should work. Take a look outside. There's Olympus. There goes the hover engines. Take a look at our fuel burn here. It's reasonable, so that should be fine. And I'm going to time accelerate just a little bit because we have a ways to go. Let me just zoom out. Zoom way out. And we're heading sort of right for it. Actually, we need to turn to the left a little bit more. But you can see how far away we have to go. See if we can turn just a little bit. A little bit harder flying in the Martian atmosphere. Okay, let's do a little bit of time acceleration here. Try 3 times. Is our fuel burn doing okay? Put a little bit more main engine thrust in. Wow, that's awesome. Just lock that view there. Let's pop open the map real quick. Let's see. So we're here, and I think we want to get somewhere right in here. So a little ways to go. Fuel burn still looking okay. We're actually accelerating. I think orbital velocity is just over 3,000 meters per second, so we're about over half maybe. I'm seeing like a buffering on my live stream over there. Can you guys confirm in the chat box? Is it working okay for you? Looks like we have a pretty high ridge just ahead of us there. Okay, great, thanks. I was worried because I was seeing like a buffering over there, and I was worried that you guys weren't seeing anything. Sitting here talking to myself. Cool. Hey guys, yeah, I don't know if there was some lag or something with the chat. I have a chat pop-out open, so I can see your chat. Of course, I'm not staring at the chat window, but I can see it. It's actually recording it. So the stream, someone asked gamers rule. The stream chat is on the right side, I think. My view is a little bit different than what you're seeing, but it should be on the right side, and you can pop the window out. Let's see, where are we at? We're at 3 times acceleration. We should be getting reasonably close. I wish there was a way to see on the map. Like, we're here. Here's the base, so we've traveled, you know, a little ways, but I'm sure there was a way to tell on the map where the Valles Marinera is, because I'm not positive without zooming way out, but it looks like we may be getting, yeah, we're almost there. It's right kind of in front of us. So we do need to turn a little bit more to the left, kind of head over that way. Let me slow time down a little bit here. Go to 2 times acceleration. Let's see if we can turn. It's a little hard to do in the Martian atmosphere. Just checking out our airspeed there is, what, just over 2,000 meters per second. So we're hauling pretty good. Let me try to turn here. Let's slow time down to normal time speed. And with this velocity, it's probably actually going to be pretty hard to turn. So we may be stuck a little bit in this trajectory. But we should still get some pretty stellar views here. So I'm thinking we'll sort of do this little low pass over the valley here, and then we'll head up into space, go dock with the space station, maybe go to Phobos, and then come back and land. So that's looking pretty spectacular right there, actually. Let's see, sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Andy Black had a good question. Where is that? Let me scroll up. Do you think a manned lifting body is the best way to do a Mars EDL landing, unlike the canceled Red Dragon mission? I have no idea. I'm sorry. Am I landing on Mars with the Delta Glider? Yeah, that's the plan. We're going to end up hopefully landing in one piece with the Delta Glider. Yeah, go to Phobos. Okay, well, we might have to do that. I didn't put a base on Phobos, so we'll probably just go to Phobos. Wow, look at that, though. Let me hop out real quick. Let's go to one-time speed. So we're actually still accelerating. Propellant looks fine. Let's hop outside. Whoa. We're zoomed way out there. Wow. Holy cow, that's amazing. That's stunning. If you're watching, Martin, excellent work. That is just stunning. Sort of want to get in a rover and just go drive around down there. Wow. Okay, so instead of I'm just going to keep our flight path going here. So we're almost at orbital velocity, so I think we can just slowly continue to increase our speed. Cool thing about Mars, but we're at 26 kilometers in altitude, and we can pretty much be at orbital velocity at this altitude and not have any like serious drag. Maybe a little bit higher would be better, but gamers rule. So yeah, you asked, I didn't put a base on Phobos. I should have clarified. I didn't put a Prelude base. So that's part of Dan's Delta Glider 4 add-on. It's considered a vessel, so you can place it anywhere you want. And because it's considered a vessel, you can use the scenario editor to do that. I could actually do that. I didn't think about that right here in the simulation. So, but the problem with that is with the elevation in Orbiter 2016, if you don't place it just right, it'll be underneath the surface of Phobos. So I took quite a bit of time in my Earth to Mars series trying to find just the right spot to put that base when we landed on Phobos in that series. Wow, stunning. So I'm using a Track IR to look around. Sometimes I tend to just lock it in place though, because that way I don't have to hold my head over to the left side. No one has asked my thoughts on Dan Stuff's add-ons yet. I'm super anxious to have him update it, but I know he's really busy with his real job right now. So yeah, we'll just have to be patient for a while. But yeah, his Aero Freighter is an awesome add-on, and I would love to do like a video series with that, going to the outer solar system or something, because it seems more realistic than flying the XR2. But yeah, I think he'll update it. It's going to be a little while longer. Yeah, the Delta Glider 4 will work with Orbiter 2016. There's a few kinks with it. Russell Pruton, I'm not sure if I'm saying his last name right. He has a video series he was doing on YouTube with the Delta Glider 4. So it's pretty much usable, but there's a couple of bugs in it. Max. Okay, Max. Nice to meet you. What do you mean none of the XR ships land properly? Yeah, UCGO. Yeah, I have to have it too. It's an awesome add-on. I've been tempted to just go back and play Orbiter 2010 just to use UCGO, but I don't know. I just can't bring myself to do it. I love 2016 so much. They go in the ground. The XR. I haven't had that problem. So he's saying when he lands the XR ships, they go into the ground. Like anywhere you land them? I haven't had that problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and complete the orbital insertion. So let's turn off altitude hold, and I think, yeah, so we can just kill the hover engines. Check. Let's pitch up a little bit. Go full power on the main engine. And we'll watch Periapsis shut down maybe around 200 kilometers. What's the mission goal? So yeah, at the beginning of the live stream I talked about we were going to do an atmospheric flight over Valles Marineris. We just completed that, and now we're going to get into orbit and rendezvous and dock with the NASA station that's in orbit over Mars. Sounds like we're probably going to go to Phobos and then come back and land at Olympus Base where we departed from. Okay, so I'm watching Periapsis. And we're almost to 200K. And there we go. 209, 210. It's going up a little bit because we're still pitched up here. Let's zero out our trim. I think that looks zeroed. Propellant looks fine. We did good on propellant. And we can go to the orbit HUD now. Hop outside real quick. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so up we go. Okay, so let's turn off gimbal control. Let's turn off hover attitude control. That is off. Let's go up here. Okay, so we can probably go ahead and now extend the radiator. We'll leave beacon and strobe on. That looks fine. Pitch down a little bit. Max, okay, so you asked, is it a big deal to land on a moon? Like any moon or our moon? And a bigger deal to land on another planet. How about landing on another planet's moon? Landing on our moon is not really a big deal. It's actually pretty easy because there's no atmosphere, so it really makes things much easier as long as you have the fuel. It's the same concept on any other moon unless it has an atmosphere. So like Titan or something, that's going to be pretty difficult. It's got a really thick atmosphere. And then other planets, the only planets that you can really land on are Mars, Mercury, which that doesn't have an atmosphere, of course. Venus, I think you can land on it, maybe not with a Delta glider. I haven't tried it. The atmosphere is so thick. I think that's it, right? You can land on Pluto. That's not technically a planet. You can land on and all the moons of Jupiter. Those are fun. If you're watching my Lunar Industry series, you'll see I landed on the moon like twice, I think. So It's really not that complicated. Okay, so what are we at? We're at 100 kilometers above the surface now. So let's open up the Align Plane MFD. We see we're coasting up to apoapsis. We don't need the surface anymore. Let's go to Align Plane on this side. So our relative inclination is quite a ways off. What I might actually do is use the atmosphere to adjust that, because that's a huge plane change we need to make. So maybe we will just raise our periapsis up to like 25K, 30K or something. I've done it in at Earth, but not here, so that'll be interesting. We need to do it at the nodes, so we need our altitude on this side, both sides of the planet, to be around 25 kilometers, probably 20 kilometers to get any atmospheric effect. So you've been to the Moon and Mars, but not others. Yeah, the Moon and Mars are probably the most popular ones to go to for sure. Yeah, it just takes a while. There's, I have lots of tutorial videos. David Courtney's made a bunch of tutorial videos. Getting into orbit's really not that difficult. So it's just one step at a time. Every time you accomplish something, it feels really good, and then you move on to something else. I've been playing for, since the 2006 version, so over 10 years. And I still don't know everything about this program. So, alright, so let me time accelerate. We're going to get up to apoapsis. I'm actually not going to circularize the orbit because I want to keep our altitude sort of low here. So let's time accelerate. And point prograde. We're just about to apoapsis here. Okay, let's burn. Let's coast a little bit further. Okay, burning. So maybe I'm going to bring my periapsis up to about 30K. Okay, there's 31. And I think that will still not quite be low enough, but let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. You can't install mods and other stuff. I have a video that explains how to install add-ons. So if you haven't seen it, check that out on my channel. I wonder if we should leave the radiator out while we do this. Maybe not. That may not be a good thing. Do I not know how to what? Oh, okay. Alright, so let's see. So our altitude is not going to be low enough at the ascending node here to use the atmosphere to align our orbital plane with the NASA station. So let's just time accelerate, going into sunset here. Let's continue coasting down. Let's go ahead and, where's the radiator? Let's put the radiator up. So Periapsis is actually falling lower than I anticipated, so let's Raise that up a little bit here. Okay, as time accelerates. Whoa. Okay, I can't go to 100 times acceleration with autopilot engaged there. Let's go prograde. Speed time up. Okay, so our apoapsis is falling right now just from us dragging through the atmosphere, so that's good. So it looks like 40K, maybe 50K would be enough to align our orbital plane. So we're almost to periapsis. Let's open the retro doors. Let's point prograde. And that's a bug with the orbiter sound. Our nose cone is not opened. Okay, we're going to fire the retro engines. Just bring our apoapsis down here. Okay. Now let's see if we can coast over to the descending node. And we'll see if we're low enough to use the atmosphere here. Wow, our periapsis is just falling a lot there. So let's roll right side up. Let's go to the surface HUD. I'm actually going to jump in the glass cockpit for this one. Okay, let's time accelerate. So this is sort of difficult. I can't really time accelerate a lot because we are in the atmosphere right now. Okay. Yeah, Ken said the scenario editor is really easy to add stuff. Again, I do have a tutorial just released on that, so check that out. Depends on what you're trying to add, but you can pretty much create any vessels with it. As far as something to create add-ons, you know, I have no experience with that. You've got to have, it depends on what kind of add-on you're making, but if you're making anything of sophistication, yeah, you got to have some coding skills for sure. Then of course modeling skills if you want it to look good. Okay, so I'm not sure. Let me try to lower our altitude a little bit more here. I think that will be okay. Looking at where the descending node is, I think our altitude should be okay to still be in the atmosphere. Let's time accelerate. Okay, so we are approaching the descending node, so we would want to turn to the right, I believe. So let's roll over. Wow, that looks awesome. Check that out. Here comes the sun. Let's pull back and let's see if we can adjust the off-plane distance here, relative inclination rather. It should go down. That's actually raising it. Did I turn the wrong way? Or maybe it's because I'm before the node. Maybe that's what it is. There we go. Now it's coming down. But that's a lot of relative inclination there we need to get rid of. We need to bring down. So let's see what we can do. Try a little time acceleration. Okay, we're falling down into a little bit more of the atmosphere here. There we go, now it's coming down. So I'm not entirely sure this is actually going to be any more fuel efficient than just doing the burn, but oh well, we'll give it a try here. It is coming down. So anyone who just joined in on the stream, what we're trying to do is align our orbital plane with the NASA station. So we're going to rendezvous and dock with that. I'm using the atmosphere to bring that down because our off-plane distance was, our relative inclination rather, was quite high. The downside, of course, you can see that we are scrubbing some of our orbital velocity. So looking at the orbit MFD over there, you can see that we're clearly going to have to do a burn after this to get back into orbit. But I believe it takes less fuel to do that, to do a prograde burn, to raise our orbit back up versus aligning the plane here. So let me see if I can put some trim in so I don't have to sit here and hold the joystick. It looks like we have enough. Nope. Not really. There's just not enough atmosphere on Mars, so it makes atmospheric flight extremely difficult. So we're 23 kilometers above the surface. Sounds about right. Before we're hitting any amount of atmosphere that's going to help us out. So we're not going to get our plane perfectly aligned, but I think we'll get it close enough we can finish it with our engines. We're already down to 45 seconds of burn time now. Our velocity, though, has dropped down to 2,200 meters per second, so we need about another 1,000 meters per second. So, okay, so this looks like it's going to be about as close as it's going to get here, just a minute. Somewhere right in here. Okay, let's pitch up, fire our main engines. Good thing about the Delta glider is we have tons of fuel. Okay, that's probably high enough. We don't need to pitch up so much anymore. 0R pitch. I'm going to go for an apoapsis around 200K. I think the space station is up around that altitude. We'll take a look at that in a minute. There's 200. Okay, let's target NASA station. So yeah, it's orbiting between 196 and 226. So that looks fine. It's almost on the other side of the planet from us. So we've got some work to do. Okay, so let's time accelerate. Let's go to the orbit HUD. Let's jump back into the virtual cockpit. Let's see, let's put the radiator out. Everything here looks fine. All right. Oops. Approaching apoapsis. Let's go prograde. And we'll use interplanetary to circularize. Hate that word. And we're looking at 611 meters per second. And let's check out our burn time. We have tons of delta V. So we're almost at apoapsis here. There we go, auto burn. And there we go. Alright, so we're safely in orbit. Let's go back to align plane MFD. We're going to coast around to, looks like, the ascending node. So ascending node means we're going to burn anti-normal. Let's go ahead and orient the vessel here. So we're looking at 22 seconds of burn time. That's a lot better than what it was, but we used a ton of fuel to get into orbit there, so I'm not sure which one was more efficient. And we're burning. Alright, there we go. So our orbital plane is perfectly aligned. Let's take a look at the map. So we want to rendezvous somewhere around here. So let's time accelerate. probably good enough. Make that smaller. Okay, so somewhere over here is in daylight, and its altitude right there is about 204.9 K. So let's see, where are we at? I can't see our periapsis and apoapsis. So here is our periapsis, which is 196, and our apoapsis is over here. So, all right. Let's pull up the SyncMFD. So our altitude is not too far off. Maybe about 5 kilometers or so. A little bit less. So that's not too bad. But I don't want to lower our altitude too much over here. So let's tell you what, let's do a prograde burn, and we can get there pretty quick. Doing a prograde burn. It's just going to take more fuel, but we have tons of it, so why not use it? And let's just do a little burn here. So I want to change this to our periapsis. Whoops, I passed it. Ship periapsis. Let's time accelerate a little bit. Get right on our periapsis. Okay, there we go. So we're at 212, and it was about 209, I guess. So it's pretty close. So I'm just gonna burn a little bit more here. So we'll get it within 4 orbits. Watch DT min. Time of arrival difference is coming down to 0. And there it is. I passed it up a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to do a course correction. But we had to raise our apoapsis up to 934 kilometers, it looks like. So we're going pretty high up there. That's okay. Alright, let's coast up to our apoapsis and adjust our periapsis altitude to match that of the space station. And it is not going to get there before we get there. But I think it was around 209. So let's point prograde. And we're almost there. So it reads different. Periapsis reads different when we're up at apoapsis than it did when we were actually at periapsis. I think it was like 3K off. It was 3K high. So we need to do a retrograde burn. Bring it down to like 216, 215 maybe, something like that. Wow, that didn't take much. Let's go for 215. There we go. Okay, let's time accelerate and let's coast over there. Let's double check what is the space station's altitude is actually 202. 202.7. Alright, let's coast around to our periapsis. 202.7. Okay, so we got it right at 209, but it actually needs to be 202.7. Okay. So let's coast around to apoapsis and bring it down to 202.7. So it was 209. Let's see, let's point prograde. So we're almost there. We're past it a little bit, actually. So what is it right now? It's 214. Let's go with that. That should be pretty darn close. Relative inclination is off a little bit, so we're going to make an adjustment there as well. Let me go align plane. So we're approaching the descending node. We can do a quick burn here. Descending node, we're going to burn normal. And here we go. burning. There we go. Alright, let's point prograde again. Let's go back to the orbit HUD. So we're going to time accelerate down to our periapsis. Let's check our altitude. So we're 1K off. We're 1K low. Yep, we're 1K off. Okay. Let's go back up to apoapsis. Let's point retrograde. So we need to raise it. I'm pointing retrograde, so I'll use my retro engines. Put a normal time speed. Actually, I'm just going to use linear RCS. So we need to go to 208.5. There we go. Alright, one last course correction. Relative inclination actually is not that great, but it's acceptable. So let's coast over to our interception point. We're going to get the time of arrival difference down. So we've got one more orbit after this one. So we are arriving 13 seconds off. We're at the interception point, so let's use our linear RCS, bring that time of arrival difference to 0, DT-min. And pass it up a little bit there. And there we go, that's pretty good. It's not going to stay there, of course. And relative inclination, is that going to be worth messing with it? Maybe I'll just use linear RCS here. So ascending node, for an anti-normal, we're going to burn down, I said B. Oops. Retrograde.
Rotation. Translation.
Wow, it takes forever with linear RCS to adjust your relative inclination, apparently. But it's coming down.
Rotation. Translation.
I think Mars is a very finicky planet. And there we go. That's... looks like it's not going to get right on 0, but that will work. Okay, so let's go to docking over here, and when we get a little closer, we should start to get a signal. Time accelerate. "23 people watching. Welcome, guys. I guess that number's increased since I last looked. If you just joined, we are currently rendezvousing with the NASA space station that's in orbit around Mars. We started out by taking off from Olympus Base. We did some atmospheric flight over Valles Marineris, and it was quite stunning, the scenery, the new scenery that Martin released. I will put a link to that in the description of the video, but I'm sure you've probably heard about it by now. It's definitely worth checking that out. So let's time accelerate. We're going to get a little bit closer, about half an orbit to go until we'll rendezvous. Looks like we're going to have... I don't know how close the pass is actually going to be. Mars is such a finicky planet. I was having a lot of trouble getting time arrival difference and altitude set. You can see our relative inclination is actually 0.17, so it's not superb, but we'll be close enough. We'll press HUD. There is the space station. So we're definitely going to have to use our main engines to brake, because you can see how large the shape of our orbit difference is here. So We'll get a little bit closer. And we can use burn time, actually. Let's put in our DV is, it's actually falling. We'll just put in 112. If we use our retro engines, that can't be right. Oh, that's kilometers per second, I bet. Yeah. No, that's not right either. 92 K. That's not right either. I know it's going to take more than 1 kilometer to break. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn around.
Rotation.
Because we are going to use our main engines. Oh, wait a second. I put in the distance, not the actual velocity. So that's better. Okay. That was bonehead. That was my fault. I was putting in the distance we are from the space station instead of the velocity. So with, what, 146 meters per second in velocity, using the retro engines, we'd have to break 3K out. So I guess we could do that. And we're still 70K out. So let's just do that. I'm going to turn back around. And while that's happening, we can open our nose cone. Retro doors are open. See, everything looks good here. Let's turn on dock lights are on. Oh, we did extend our radiator. My bad. Okay, everything here looks good. Okay, that looks fine. So let's rotate around. There's the space station. And there is our velocity vector. So it's not a super close pass. We're actually kind of missing it quite a bit there. Let's time accelerate. So let's put in DV 150, distance 3.2K. So let's continue time accelerating, maybe about 4 kilometers. It's a good time to brake. Oh, there's the space station way over there. Okay. Almost there. Wow, that thing is massive. Check that out. That looks great. Okay, let's continue time accelerating. And I guess we need to go ahead and actually burn. There's the space station way down there. So that pass was not close at all.
Translation.
Okay, let's move our velocity vector over there.
Rotation.
And I think we have to target, because the frequencies don't work. I think if we target that, is that not? It's not letting me select it. Let me get this over here
Translation.
first.
Rotation. Translation. Rotation. Translation.
Let me figure out what's going on with this. Well, that's interesting. It's not letting me select any of the docking ports. Let me double check this. Vessel, NASA station. Docking ports all listed there, but it doesn't have frequencies listed for them. So that's pretty kind of worthless. I didn't try this. I did put the space station in orbit around Mars, but I never did try to make sure it had frequencies and stuff like that. I don't know how. I guess I can still dock to it without the. Actually, no, I don't know how I'm supposed to dock to this thing without having a docking HUD. Without any of the data for the docking MFT. It's not letting me select it. Any of the docking ports. Nope, that's not working. Buck Rogers, I guess. Here we go. So we're gonna cruise over here.
Rotation. Translation.
And I'm not sure which end. I think it's this end here is where the docking ports are. We're gonna find out.
Rotation. Translation.
It looks like a really cool space station, though. Yeah, those look like docking ports to me.
Rotation. Translation. Rotation.
Oh, I guess we can turn off airfoil control. We don't need that in space, do we? Alright, pre-docking checklist. I don't know what to do with these up here, so leave those alone. Nothing's open, no hatches are open. Dock lights are on, check, check, that looks good. The nose cone is open. Retro doors, we'll leave those open for right now. And we're about to hit the space station. So let's see. Are those docking ports? I think they are. Yeah, they are docking ports.
Translation. Rotation.
So this is going to be interesting, docking without anything on the docking MFD here. I've never tried this. And I assume we would dock with the rotating part above us. That makes sense.
Rotation.
Boy, this kind of sucks. Problem is I have no sense of
Translation.
rotational alignment.
Rotation. Translation.
Also, don't really have a true sense of distance.
Rotation. Translation. Rotation.
I wonder if I'm coming in at the wrong angle here. Maybe I'm supposed to go in that way.
Translation. Rotation.
I think I'm supposed to come in this way.
Translation.
Ooh, I think I see a shadow on the space station. Oh yeah, we're pretty close.
Rotation. Translation. Rotation. Translation.
This is going to be next to impossible.
Rotation. Translation. Rotation.
Okay, so I need to rotate a little bit more.
Translation. Rotation. Translation.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Rotation. Translation. Rotation. Translation. Rotation.
Okay, like I'm flying into the docking port here, but yet...
Translation.
Oh, there it goes. We docked. And... Oh, I was the wrong way. So I had it right from the get-go. Oh, bummer.
Congratulations.
Well, there you go. I guess that's how you dock without a docking MFD. Alright. So, I guess we have enough fuel. We can go to Phobos. Let's hop over here. Let's see. Go to interplanetary menu, course, target intercept set. Okay, so let's go to time to ejection, and let's increase that. It's coming down. I'm watching delta velocity. Sorry guys, I don't know if there was like some lag with the chat or something, but all of a sudden there's like a million chat messages coming through, so I'm sorry if I missed anything. I'm seeing all your comments now. Yes, it was very much eyeballing that docking. Thanks for the tips there, Joe. Yeah, that was interesting. Let's see what we get here with interplanetary. So delta velocity is coming down. We want something fairly reasonable. 1900 dB sounds crazy high. Let's go to TransX and see what we get here. I'm gonna go to Phobos, view, maneuver mode. Let's add some prograde. Let's go to the date. Advance the date. Prograde. Bring that down. Okay, there's something pretty close there. That's 409 kilometers. Now let's try a little bit of plane change. So that's not really helping right now. So what is that date? So 700 meters per second is more like what we should be looking for. The date was 5789 eject date. Okay, so let's go here. We're going to set this to 57891.900, and encounter date is 57892.007, and oh, there we go. Great. Okay, so 735 meters per second in delta velocity. Okay, so someone asked Oh, Ken, I've been lagged since atmospheric plane change. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know if the stream was completely ruined. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, we're docked now. I'm trying to get us to Phobos, and someone asked if there's a way to use IMFD without all the button clicks. So basically, we just did that. I calculated a better launch date with TransX over here. So IMFD has a plan for us set up here, and we are 787 seconds away from the burn. So we can basically just let IMFD burn this plan, and it should get us within 417 kilometers of Phobos, which we can adjust as we get closer. So let's time accelerate. Let's take one more look outside. That's awesome. Okay, thanks, Ken. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. So at least the stream works, but I was wondering because nobody was chatting. So thank you for letting me know. Is the DG or the propellant on the DG hyperbolic? I think you meant, Joe. I'm not positive. Probably. It's got a stupid amount of delta velocity. So, all right. Let's see. So let's turn off the docking lights here. Everything looks good there, and okay, so let's time accelerate a little bit here. We'll stay docked, watching time to ejection here. Maybe 200 seconds out, and there it is. We're going to undock.
Undocking confirmed.
And we're going to translate away from the space station here. This thing is just massive. It's going to take a little bit to coast away from the space station. Boy, I hope we don't have to burn right through the space station. I didn't think about that. Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure, actually. To be honest, I don't fly the default Delta Glider a whole lot. My favorite vessel, obviously, is the XR2. Okay, so we've got our plan set up to go to Phobos here. Let's just hit page, burn vectors, and auto burn. So we are orienting for the burn. I guess we can also close the nose cone. We can close the retro doors. And we're gonna burn right between the space station there. That's not good. Let me turn off auto burn for a second. Just gonna translate away from the space station a little bit more here. Okay, there we go. Okay, hit auto burn again. Go to the orbit HUD. So we're 80 seconds from the burn. I'm going to time accelerate. I did not refuel, no. We have plenty of fuel left. Burn time. And looking at main engines, we have 20,000 meters per second, 20,500 meters per second, and delta velocity. That's an insane amount of delta velocity, so we should be more than good for this trip. Let's go no target, and we're 8 seconds from the burn. We're oriented, and Interplanetary is about to do the burn for us. There goes the space station. See you guys later. Wow, that's cool. Okay, let me jump into the glass cockpit. So you can see our delta velocity here is counting down. It was just over 700 meters per second, I believe, to get us out to Phobos. In fact, we can target Phobos. There we go. So you can see its orbit here is much higher than where we were. Okay, so what I'm going to do is open Interplanetary on this side. Let's go to the map program. Let's target Phobos. And so our Periapsis is here. 194.2 kilometers is our closest pass by Phobos, which is not too bad. We want to get a little closer, I think. I don't think we're going to land. I think we're just going to do a flyby. Let me see what happens if I do a little translation here. I'm not really seeing any change, actually. We're just going to go with that. Let's see how close this plan got us. So we can press burn vectors. And I guess that's it. So point prograde, and we'll time accelerate. And we're going to coast up to Phobos. TS Penguin, what's up, man? Welcome. My DV is bad and I should feel bad. Yes, indeed. It's been a long time, brother. How are you? We're at 10 times acceleration, guys. Enjoying a nice sunset here over Mars. Heading out to Phobos. Saturn V had 17 meters per second. 17 kilometers per second, sorry. That's crazy. I did not know that. Interesting information. Yes, 20 kilometers per second is insane. But then that was an insane rocket. It was massive. I live here in Houston, so I've seen it in person. They have it laying down on its side, and it's just huge. Alright, so there's sunset. I'm going to turn off prograde and we're going to time accelerate a little bit more. You can see where we are right here. Coasting up to the high point in our orbit. Phobos is over here. If all goes well, we should be intercepting Phobos. We'll do a course correction here in just a bit. See if we can't get that a little bit closer. Looks like our closest pass is only 195K. Let me play around with, I was tempted to use TransX, but let's see what I can do with Interplanetary. So linear RCS. Okay, there we go. I'm just using linear RCS and bringing down our Periapsis here. I'm not planning to land on Phobos, so we don't want to get it like on 0 or anything. Extra points if I can bomb Phobos with an MMU. Well, I'm in the default Delta glider. I don't think if I was in the XR2, we could certainly do that. We could set up our Periapsis so that it hits Phobos, eject one of the poor souls out of the airlock. We could do that. Okay, so we're missing Phobos by a mere 9 kilometers. That may actually be hitting it, I'm not sure. So time accelerates. Let's see. Ecliptic. So Phobos should be somewhere around here. Should be on our right side. There's Mars. That looks great. I don't know if we're actually going to be too low to Phobos. I guess we're going to find out here. Oh, I think we're off plane from Phobos too. There it is. That's what it is. Boy, I hope we don't actually hit. Alright, take care, Max. Thanks for watching. Phobos is only 11 kilometers in radius. Our periapsis is 8 kilometers, so we should be okay, right? Might be a little close. Either way, I think we can probably adjust it as we get closer if we need to. And here it comes. I think we're going to be okay. Oh yeah, that's not even going to be that close, really. I was hoping to be a little bit closer than that, quite frankly, but there you go. There's Phobos. Hello, Igor. Is that how you say your name? I apologize if that's not right. And all the Brazilian fans, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for joining today. We're just passing Phobos right now. Oh, that looks great. There's Mars. Not sure what's up with the lines there. And Phobos is right there. So we're coming in kind of off plane, so it's kind of a funny angle, but that was not even remotely close to hitting it, guys. Sorry I didn't get you closer. Oh, okay. Thanks for the info, Joe. All right. Well, there we go. So I guess we're going to wrap things up with trying to land back on Mars. Let me see what we can do with that. Let's see. What's going to be the best way to do this? Let's go to base sync. Type in, we want to target Olympus. Oh, is my, what's going on? Reference is off. There we go. And we want to target Olympus. There we go. Okay, so we have a close pass, what, 4 orbits away? And that's not too bad. Okay, let's coast down to our Periapsis. Enjoy the view. Oh wow, our Periapsis, I just noticed that is 8 kilometers. That's not gonna work. We're gonna have to raise that up. Yes, we could aero brake. But we're too far off from the base on this orbit right now, actually. Oh, wait a minute. Well, we are referencing Mars. Okay, sorry. The HUD is off, but there we go. So I think I would actually need to point
Rotation.
away from Mars a little bit. Yes, there we go. That should work. So we have 920 kilometers off-plane distance on the second orbit. Let me put that on 2. And so I think what I can do is adjust it at this node here, lower our orbit at Periapsis, and maybe come back around one more time. Let's see. Approaching this node, we're going to burn normal. This is point normal. $65 seconds of burn time. No, I'm not doing any. We're not going to get a super great eclipse here, so. Any of you guys going to be in the path? Really? Wow, you drove quite a ways. Oh, Ken, I'm jealous. You're gonna get a great view. Yeah, I don't even think it's gonna be worth looking up for us. I don't have the glasses either. I don't want to ruin my eyes. I'll watch it on TV. Oh, sorry. What am I doing? I'm aligning the orbital plane basically with Olympus. So I'm bringing off-plane distance down. The white number here, I'm bringing that down close to 0, so that our path will cross the base on the second orbit. So that's really good enough. A little bit closer. We're gonna have to probably adjust a little bit more. So now I'm gonna coast down to Periapsis, and I'm gonna lower our orbit to pretty much just circularize it. Oh, sorry about that, Ken. Maybe you can sneak outside and take a quick look. Oh, Beverly. Well, you're closer than I am, so there's people here who are driving just as far north as they can. I think I read something like the last time we had totality in the U.S., or I guess it crossed the entire U.S., was like 1919. Is that right? Alright, so I'm just coasting to Periapsis here. And I guess we can just use interplanetary to circularize. Burn time is 46 seconds. PET is, so we want to do a little bit closer. Yeah, that's close enough. Go back to base sync over here. So we're just circularizing, I hate that word, our orbit. Does base sync need something to work? Even when activated in modules tab, I can't see the MFD in game. I think I recall something about that. If the 2010 version, I'm not sure. If you're running the right version for 2010, 2016, it should work, but you might need the module messaging MFD add-on. I think that's what you may need. 1800s? Wow, that was a long time ago. Okay, our orbit is now circularized, but our off-plane distance is terrible. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the chat. I don't know what happened there. Well, oh well. I guess we need to burn off some of this fuel anyways. So what we're approaching... Damn, that's 142 seconds of burn time. Holy goodness. That's for this orbit. And I don't think we're gonna have to go down on the next orbit. Let's take a look at the map. Of course it's night, always the case. We're landing at night. Wow, that looks great. Check that out. Okay, so let's point. No, wait, stop. We're gonna do... I think it's going to be the other way around, actually. Let me try this. Nope, that was right. Module messaging? Yeah. That I'm sure that is what you need. Hopefully. Okay, sorry guys, let me see if I can get this off-plane distance down without affecting our orbit too much here. Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. You can see my apoapsis is increasing right now anyway, so... Did that work, Max? No, I'll just see if I can land this orbit. Why not? Okay, cool. Glad that worked. I think it may be somewhere in the documentation. I'm not positive. I recall something like that with LaunchMFD. Okay, so let's put in our frequency for Olympus base. There it is. Comm nav. So long range transmitter is 114.20. And landing pad, let's go for 3. I think that's where we departed from. So 132.10. Okay, looks good. Close that. Let's open aero brake. Target Olympus. And okay, so it looks like we're falling just short of the base, which is okay for now. "2001 Space Odyssey." Yeah, I think it's an old film for sure, but it's a classic. All right, let's see. We're gonna go ahead and open. Is the nose cone ladder extended? That should be. This one opened.
Nose cone open.
No, the retro doors are open, not the nose cone. Nose cone is closed. Let's turn on our airfoil control surfaces. All of that can be off. Okay, that looks fine. Up here, let's retract the radiator. Lights are good. Okay, I think we're ready for re-entry here. Actually, maybe I should close the retro doors initially.
Nose cone closed.
Okay, so let's time accelerate.
Translation. Rotation.
Let me just move some stuff around so I get my joystick over here. Although I don't know if I'm going to need it for Mars. Whoa, forgot I'm at 10 times acceleration there. That was interesting. Welcome back. We're about to land, hopefully, before we wrap it up today. Yeah, I'm not as proficient with the Delta glider here, so we're doing some Buck Rogers stuff today, as you can see. But sort of fun. And you can tell we're actually starting to hit the atmosphere now. The nose is being pulled down. Let's put the trim back. You can't get the NASA station in orbit around Mars. Check out my try the scenario editor. That's what I used. What I did do is I opened up. Okay, what values do you need? Well, we can look at that. Let's go back in here. Let me slow the time down. Orbital elements. So there you go. Take a screenshot. Put that in, and it should be exactly the same as mine. So hopefully you got that. But basically all I did is I took the station from one of the scenarios that came with the add-on and just edited with the scenario editor. Yep, okay, cool. No problem. Closed. Alright, speed time up. We're at 60 kilometers in altitude and falling. So one thing about, I don't know, maybe, I'm sure I'm doing it wrong, but with Mars, the aerobrake MFD is a little bit hard to read sometimes because of the thin atmosphere. So you kind of have to guesstimate how far away from the base you actually need to slow down, because once you slow down to like 900 meters per second, I think, the atmosphere, even at the lowest level of altitude, doesn't really help very much. Well, don't worry. The video will be available afterwards, so you can watch it. I think you can rewind and stuff too. So okay, let's continue time accelerating. Gonna roll over here. So yeah, the aerobrake prediction's funny enough. When I roll right side up, shows that I'm completely missing the base. But when I go inverted, all of a sudden I'm falling short of the base. So I'm watching off-plane distance there too. We don't want to get that too high. As time accelerates. And we should start to see some plasma here momentarily. Let's open external MFD. We'll do this for surface. Make that a little bit bigger. Alright. So we're definitely in the atmosphere now. Let's check out our G loading. There we go. And put base sync back over here. Okay. UCG, no, it does not work, unfortunately. I wish. Not yet. I'm very much itching to do a a video series with that, but unfortunately it does not work, no. Okay, so we're getting fairly close to the base. I'm going to start, whoa, we're pulling a lot of G's there.
Attitude off.
So we're at 9 kilometers in altitude. I need attitude,
Rotation.
apparently. It changes to 1 orbit. Gosh, this thing is so sluggish in the Martian atmosphere, it's crazy. Okay, I'm just bringing the off-plane distance back down to 0 here, and there it goes. Overshot it just a little bit. Let's turn back. We still got a little ways to go. Let me see if I can trim it out. I don't know how well the trim's going to work in this thin atmosphere. It's working okay. Okay, let's bank a little over to the left and bring that back down. And let's see, I bet I can adjust the trim a little bit more from the virtual cockpit here. So I'm going to go nose up just a little bit. Yeah, I think everyone is excited to see UCGO working in Orbiter 2016. Dan's add-ons are definitely extremely high quality. Okay, let's go back over here. Yeah, definitely. There's very little atmospheric pressure here on Mars. Like I was saying, with the aerobrake MFT, it's actually kind of difficult to judge your braking distance because once your velocity here drops around 900 meters per second, I think it is, maybe it's 700, I don't recall. The atmosphere is just not thick enough to really be of any use to you for slowing down, so you have to use your retro engines just like you would like on the moon or something. But there's enough of an atmosphere that it makes things just that much more complicated. So Yeah, it can be tricky landing on Mars. And of course it's going to be night, so that's going to be a little bit more tricky. Oh, that reminds me. Let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights. Let's turn on nav. It is nighttime. And I think we're going slow enough now. Yes, we are. We can go ahead and open our retro doors. We're going to need those.
Nose cone open.
That looks fine. Okay. Move this over here. Open up another external MFD down here for the VOR. Gotta love these external MFDs. There it is. So we're not close enough yet for the landing pad to work.
You are clear to land.
Oh boy, we're pretty low apparently. I didn't notice that.
2,500.
Okay, we're about to hit the ground. We're still 140 kilometers from the base. Okay, let's take a look at burn time. What do we have? Where is it at? We're still doing 14. Let's put in 1400. And we want to use our retro engines. So we need 244 kilometers to scrub that. We are, whoa, we're 90. We're 90 kilometers from the base. I might have waited too late for that break, guys. Yes, they are getting spicy. We're like just above the surface of the ground here and just like trying to find as much atmosphere as we can to slow down. Woo! Alright. Love it. Can't see a damn thing out there. Oh yes, we can salvage this. We have plenty of fuel, so worst case we'll just turn right around and come back. Yeah, we're gonna overshoot the base. We just have too much velocity. We're 25 kilometers from the base. There's no way we're gonna slow down in time. In fact, I can see the base right up there. There's the base. Right there. There goes. Oh boy. Okay.
2,500.
Okay, let's activate. Let's do auto here. Auto here. And let's see if we can't. We're still going too fast. Can't turn around. The trick is to stay 1 meter above the surface and use maximum atmospheric resistance. That makes sense. So what, we're 2.5K. So let me turn that off. There we go. Alright, let's go about the surface over here. Still can't turn around. Okay, now we're going slow enough I can turn around. Oh, oh. Stay pointed that way. That looks so funny. There we go. Oh no, we're not going to do another orbit. We got this. The base is just right there. So we're 100 kilometers from the base. And we're heading right for it, so let's we don't need aero brake anymore. We'll put the VOR open here. And we should be close enough. Nope, not quite. Almost for landing pad number 1 or 3, I think it is. More fuel equals more success. I like your motto, Ken. Yes, indeed. These live streams are actually quite a bit more difficult. I don't know about that, Max. Appreciate it, though. Hey, Martin. What's up, man? Welcome. Just back from cycling. All right. Would you ride another 100 miles? Or whatever, kilometers? Good to see you in this live stream. We were just marveling at the Mars textures. We did a atmospheric flight, and that was really, really amazing. 190 kilometers. Good grief. Man, you were like hardcore cyclist. Good job, man. We rode, I rode 90 miles yesterday, and we averaged about 21.5 mile an hour. So it was a nice fast ride yesterday. Okay, so we're 74K from the base. Just trying to keep things under control with our velocity so we don't overshoot the base again here. For anyone joining in late to the live stream, the whole video will be available on YouTube once we finish up here. So you can go back and watch any parts that you may have missed. I have the chat recording as well this time, so you should be able to see that. Okay, we're 60 kilometers from the base. We're great on fuel, so no worries there. I was trying to use the virtual cockpit as much as possible. It is really cool. I do love this virtual cockpit. Okay, so just check everything for landing. We're still a ways out. We'll put the gear down in just a bit. Lights are on. Everything looks good.
translation. Rotation.
We're almost back to the base. We are 37K from the base. Maybe I should start slowing down actually, now that I think about it. Let's look at burn time real quick here. What do we have? Let's call it 200. So 12 kilometers is what we need in distance. So we don't need to burn just yet. We don't need to burn just yet. Let's put in 196. So we need roughly 12, we need about retro engines, 4.4 kilometers to scrub 196 meters per second. So we can get a little bit closer here. Let's see if the, okay, landing pad number 3 is working. The beta version does a bit more with radiators. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I put it out when I was in space, but it doesn't really do anything, so it was more just for the realism factor of it, but that'd be awesome. Oh, I see the base just ahead of us there. All right, so we're 20K out. Let's double check our DV, 192. So we need 4.2 kilometers to scrub that, so we'll call it round 5. We're almost there. Press F1. You want me to get out of the cockpit? There you go. For 5 seconds, okay? We're gonna have to burn here in 5 seconds, but... And let's take a look. Getting pretty close. So 190. Still about the same. There's the base. Let's go to the virtual cockpit. Let's close that. Let's go to surface. Alright, let's put our landing gear down. Landing gear's going down. Alright, let's see, we want to set this to vertical speed. We probably want more negative vertical speed than that, I guess. Let's go for 2. There we go. And okay, so we need to translate over to the base.
Attitude.
Road translation.
Okay, so looking at VOR, we're about 2.5 kilometers from the base. The landing pad is kind of over to our right and ahead of us. So I'm trying to translate to the right. We still have some ground speed though, so it's not really effective. Let's scrub a little bit more of that ground speed. There we go. Now we're getting that cross here. We want to get it in the center of the target. So we're moving it over here, and then we still need to go forward a little ways. And let's go back the other direction. I wasn't paying attention. This yellow arrow should be pointing up as well. So I translated way too much over to the right. My bad. Yeah, we're over Mars right now. No, the chat's not lagging at the moment, guys. I'm just trying to pay attention here and get us on the ground. Gotta love the Delta glider. Look how much fuel we still have. Okay, so now this arrow, which is indicating, I believe, our relative velocity, where our velocity is taking us. Yeah, so now we're pretty much centered out. So we want to go over to the left. So now you can see that arrow is pointing over to the left. And we want to go to the left because we want to bring this cross over toward the center. We're going to go forward just a little bit too. Something like that. Alright, let me time accelerate very carefully.
500. $400.
Take a look outside, and there's the base. We're still pretty high up. Okay, we're gonna do this strictly by instrumentation here, guys. It's nighttime, so we can't see anything. So we need to move over to the left a little bit more here. Okay, we're almost over the landing pad. Ah, I did it again.
$300.
Okay, we're almost there. Let's come down a little bit more here.
$200.
Okay, we are right over the landing pad. I'm not sure what a safe descent rate would be. Anyone know what a safe descent rate would be? Martin, I'm sure you know about this, but the micro textures or whatever, that really made a huge difference in the scenery around the bases. One meter per second. Thanks, Joe. So we'll set it at 1 meter per second. And, oh shoot, whoops. It's hard to adjust this thing. And there's 1 meter per second. Okay. And I wasn't paying attention.
$100.
Okay. Wow, it's taking forever to come down here at 1 meter per second. Let's turn this off for a second here.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Uh-oh. I think we touched the ground there. Oh, is the altitude off? It is. It says negative here. Oh, Martin's in here. Is there a reason for that, Martin? I'm not sure how to explain how come the altitude goes into the negatives. We're gonna go down to like 2 meters per second here. It's gonna take forever to get on the ground. We have plenty of fuel, but yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, Joe. Let's go down to 3. Ah, the Delta glider's tough. It can take it. Oh, the chat window's blocking it? Oh, sorry about that. Let me see. Hold on. I can turn that off. There we go. That should have turned the chat off. Okay, altitude on surface MFD is relative to mean radius. Probably should make that user selectable. Oh, okay. Yeah, I noticed it on the moon as well in my current series, so I wasn't sure how to explain it. But we do have altitude here on VOR. I assume this one's going to be accurate. Okay, we're getting closer now. Trying a little bit of time acceleration very carefully. And I think we're on the ground. Yes, we are. Okay, there you go. Wow, that was incredibly difficult. But yeah, we did it. We're on the ground. Let's see, what do we want to do? Turn off gimbal, turn off hover attitude. Zero the trim here. Let's turn off airfoil control.
Rotate.
Attitude off.
Attitude off. Let's retract the HUD. Turn off the landing lights. Turn off the strobe. Turn off nav. And I'm not sure how these here work, Martin. Actually, I was looking in the manual for the Delta Glider. It doesn't really expand on what these do, where they should be for various parts of the flight. So I wasn't sure about that. Let's see. I think let's close our retro doors. There we go. And I guess we're on the ground, so we can open inner and outer doors. We probably just depressurize the vessel. We can extend the nose cone ladder, and we can open the nose cone. Should be extending. Yes, it is. There we go. Oh, the ladder's not going down. Hold on. For some reason that's not working. Let's go to this cockpit view. And it says it's extended. There it goes. There we go. The ladder is going down. Okay. Well, yeah, that wraps it up, guys. We are safely back here on the surface of Mars. Just get everything set up there. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining. Well, it looks like we got Martin himself to join us. Thanks for answering those questions, Martin. We really appreciate the scenery textures that you just released for Mars. They're just stunningly spectacular. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be flying around Mars the next coming weeks anyways. Yeah, so listen guys, I'm going to go ahead and close it down here. You can go back and watch the video anytime. It will be available on my channel. I'll also put a link to the Orbiter website where you can download those Mars textures if you're not familiar with that. Thanks again for watching, guys, and until the next one, we'll see you then.